Before we begin, just note this video is my opinion. If you disagree with the conclusion I make at the end of the video, voice your opinions in the comments. Alright, onto the video. Welcome to Base or Replace, a series where we compare a character skin to its base variant and see if it either fails, lives up to, or improves a character's strength or fun value. The skin in question today is that of TS Dustswap. Will he improve on his base variant counterpart or will he fall short? Let's get started. TS Underswap is a character unlockable via getting 105 wins. He has a relatively basic moveset, and to unlock all his upgrades, you need a staggering 2500 EXP. To give you some perspective, that means he costs just as much as hard mode, a character most consider one of the strongest in the game. So TS must really be a strong character, right? Well, let's examine his statistics and find out. Keep in mind I'll be discussing these characters under the assumption that 1. You have max upgrades. 2. You have either played or seen his kit prior to watching this video. Alright, moving on. TS has a max stamina of 200, with 1000 health, making TS not very tanky when facing enemies at his level, since he can be killed in 11 hits against most characters. Although to make up for this downside, he has a block system allowing him to block a hit at the cost of 12 stamina. He can block up to 10 times before switching to phase 2, which we'll get into later. TS has a DK upgrade which essentially buffs his damage. I have some examples shown here. While the DK upgrade provides a noticeable buff, his other upgrades aren't anything special. Mostly general stat buffs. Although his phase 2 is a completely different story. Phase 2's main purpose is to inflict chaos, since most of TS's moves are map-based. Spamming all of them at once can create nearly an undodgeable mess of attacks that are sure to overwhelm anyone, experienced or not. As for phase 2's other qualities, I'm gonna be honest here, that's all phase 2 really has going for it. His moves do an ungodly amount of stamina, and he quite possibly possesses the worst move in the game. Giant Spin Bone. It does 10 stamina, never hits and does decent damage at best. Him having 200 stamina for phase 2 isn't anything special since by the time you've used your useful moves, you're out of stamina, and are left utterly defenseless. There's nothing else to really discuss about TS, other than his comically bad color, Bone Rush. He really has nothing else worthy of discussing. But how does his dusty counterpart compare to this? Well, let's find out. Unlike his base variant, TS Dustswap has a new kit, providing new options to deal with your enemies, like a buffed spin bone surrounds, and more. However, Dustswap does suffer a massive trade-off right off the bat. In exchange for 350 more health, your block mechanic is removed entirely. Due to this, focusing on your positioning and making sure you're always making space for your slow walk speed is key. Dustswap is mostly supposed to be a slow burn fight, gradually whittling down their HP over a long period of time. Rushing people as TS Dustswap is just going to end up getting you killed faster than the ULC devs uploading music to SoundCloud. Dust's biggest weakness are high damaging enemies like Spin or Soul Scythe users. DT Scythe's long range slashes prove fatal for most TS Dustswap players. Thankfully, however, TS Dustswap's new kit is way more powerful than his base variant for various reasons. First off, some of his moves are straight up buffs of the former's kit, like his Bone Throw, Bone Spin, and Cruel Bones. Sadly, he loses the dog attack, which was one of my personal favorites. But having rebounding colored bones is enough for me to forget about it. Seriously. These things are so useful. You may have noticed the funny blue guy jumping in the background, and that leads us right into a secret upgrade TS Dustswap has. At around 2000 EXP, Dustswap gets a brotherly companion to aid him in battle when he goes below a certain HP amount. Son is an NPC with infinite HP, 0 walk speed and no other movement options. They have a basic kit consisting of a bone throw and bone zone, which can both be spammed. This extra bit of help is great for scaring opponents away from your spot, discouraging aggressive play, which is just what Dustswap needs. Unfortunately, since the NPC can't move if you want to get any value out of the NPC, you need to stay close to it for the bone throw to be useful, so you're pretty much rooted to the spot. TsD Dustswap also lacks a phase 2, which is a shame, but I think giving such a campy character a phase 2 would just be boring to fight against. Overall, TsD Dustswap is a powerful character who has amazing camping potential and requires a lot of positional awareness to win most fights. Now we have covered both characters thoroughly. Who is better? While it comes down to personal preference, in my opinion, I believe out of the two characters, TsD Dustswap is the better choice. His spin bone mainly carries him, since base TS's bone spin is such a letdown, and while TS has a phase 2, I believe TsD Dustswap's single phase is better than both of TS's combined. Hopefully TS gets a rework of buff in the future, because for now, he's really lackluster for how expensive he is. If you would like to see more of this series, or if you want to suggest a potential new series, leave a comment down below, or vote on my community polls. Until next time, have a good day.